Welcome back to the Friday Briefing. Thank you for staying with us. As you well know, it's not Friday Briefing without Willis the WordMaster in the highly acclaimed Mind Your Language. Willis, thank you so much for joining us. How was your week?
Jesse, my week has been fabulous. Everything is going according to, in fact, has been going according to my plans. And I have seen you and Ashley doing a wonderful work yet for another edition of Friday Briefing. How have you been, my brother?
I'm very fine, thank you, Willis. I hope Kisumu is doing you justice. Well, let's take a look at word on the street before we go into pronunciation.
Martyrs. 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 Martyrs.
Martyrs. Martyrs. Martyrs.
Matthias. Matthias. Matthias.
Matthias. Matthias. Matthias.
Matthias. Matthias. Matthias.
Marius. Marius. Marius.
Matthias. 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 Matthias.
Well, we have had them all. Marius, Matthias, I don't know. Willis, what do you say about this particular pronunciation?
Well, Jesse, in the first place, a martyr is a person who suffers a lot or is killed because of his or her religious or political belief. It also refers to a person who suffers very much because of an illness, problem, or situation. Now, I have said the word martyr, that is for singular. Now, the word we have is martyrs. It's in plural, you say martyrs. Matthias, Matthias, Martyrs, martyr, we don't use that. The correct or acceptable pronunciation of that word is martyrs.
Martyrs.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's fine. Over to the next word. Now, there's a bone of contention with this. Colonel or colonel. How do you pronounce this word, Willis?
Oh, you are talking about an officer of high rank in the army or Air Force, and you say colonel, not colonel. Many people find themselves saying colonel, Jesse, because of what we see, but the correct pronunciation of that word is colonel, just like we say lieutenant colonel.
Well, that's interesting. Colonel. Well, now we know. Over to the next word. Draft, draught. Kindly highlight this for us. How do you pronounce draft, or is it draught?
You are talking about that game that is played with 24 pieces on a board or something by two people?
Yes.
Oh, we say draft. Draft. That is D-R-A-U-G-H-T. Draft. But when we talk about D-R-O-U-G-H, we say drought. Drought. In Kiswahili, kiangazi. Drought. But the one you've asked about, Jesse, is draft.
Well, that's the game, draft. Now we know. Over to the next word, the activity of getting information about an area. Reconnaissance. Reconnaissance. How do you pronounce this word?
Jesse, that is a very tricky word because it's long, but we have what we call now elision or syncope when I'm talking technically in pronunciation or phonology of English. Now, in this case, you say reconnaissance. Reconnaissance. There are certain sounds in that word that you now elide over or you avoid pronouncing. So you say reconnaissance, to make a reconnaissance of the island of an area. Just like when you have the informal word for that, you say recce, to do a quick recce of an area. But the one in full, reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance.
Yes.
Okay, let's move over to the next word, and it's battery. Do you say battery, battery, battery? There are a couple of people who say
You are
various
right.
words.
You are
yeah.
talking. You are talking about that device that is used like when you want to, you use it in radio, or you can have in your car engine and all that. That is battery. You say battery or battery. What we should avoid is battery. Battery, that is when it is coined in Kiswahili, battery may be used. But in English, you say battery, batteries in plural, or battery and batteries.
Okay, battery, battery or battery. Okay, let's move over to the next word. It's treacherous, something that cannot be trusted. Is it treacherous, treacherous? How do you pronounce it?
You say treacherous, treacherous, like treacherous words or a treacherous move. Or you can also talk of a treacherous road, like when it's tricky when you're navigating it. So you say treacherous, not treacherous, not treacherous. You say treacherous.
Treacherous. Okay, let's move over to something that might elicit a lot of reactions. The word is penguin. Now, is it penguin or penguin? How do you pronounce this, Willis?
Jesse, I really love the way you are handling these words, because in most cases, when you have that sounding or the pronunciation penguin, it's very common locally, but we have to get it right, especially in careers of serious communication. Letter E takes the pure sound E in that word. When you talk about that bird, you say penguin, not penguin.
Penguin, yes?
Yes.
Well, I'm happy I got that right. Eulogy, eulogy, eulogy. How do you pronounce this?
Locally, many people find themselves saying eulogy. I don't know where we have or why people have that intrusive sound o. We don't have eulogy. We say eulogy. And the spelling of that word is E-U-L-O-G-Y. Eulogy. But many people, Jesse, you can agree with me that many people say eulogy. We also say eulogize, not eulogize. So people should get it right.
Okay, eulogy. Is it severed? Severed. How do you pronounce that? Severed. It's the act of actually, it's the past tense of severe. How do you pronounce it?
Oh, the past tense of severe is normally an adjective, Jesse. This one we have to be a bit clear about it. We have the verb sever. To sever, that is to cut links or to end a relationship. Like when we say we have two countries severing all diplomatic links, that is to cut off those links. So the verb is sever. The past tense and the past participle of that verb, you don't say severed or severed, you say severed. Sever, severed. To sever links, they severed the diplomatic links, so we don't say severed or severed. And we should share this with our dear viewers. We have the adjective severe, severe attack, severe malaria, but that is not, changed in the grammatical function of that word. We can't say that it is severed as if it is a verb. Inflection deals mostly with verbs, but there are certain adjectives which also change, but very rare, Jesse. So, to sever links, and they severed links, not they severed, or severed. So I hope our viewers have got it right.
Well, I'm sure we have got it right. I as well. Abbreviate, abbreviate. How do you pronounce this?
Oh, yes. Just see that word. Many people say abbreviate, to abbreviate. We don't say abbreviate. You say abbreviate, to abbreviate. Just like appreciate, not appreciate. Appreciate, abbreviate. So we should know that letter E takes the long sound E. Abbreviate and appreciate.
Abbreviate. Okay, now let's go over to the feedback. And Willis, what do you have for us in the collections of the week?
Oh, yes, I'll begin with Steve Njoroge of Juja. Steve Njoroge of Juja has two words which are confusing. C-H-O-I-R, like when you talk of a group of singers, you say choir. But something that looks awkward or surprising in some way, you talk of queer. That is Q-U-E-E-R, queer. But C-H-O-I-R is choir. We have Christine Oduor of Eldoret. Christine, you say conscience. We have the word science, but you don't say conscience. You say conscience. Then you have conscientiously. Don't say consciously. Conscientiously. A very tricky word. So the lady from Eldoret, that is Christine Oduor, that is wonderful, and thank you for loving Mind Your Language segment that much. Then Nicodemus Okara of Siokimau and Mary Nyabia, you say manipulation, manipulation. Then we have Mary Wanjala of Kakamega, you say census. Don't say census. Population, census. You talk of census. But when we have degrees Celsius, avoid saying Celsius. Many people think when they listen or hear somebody saying Celsius, they feel, oh, that person may not be knowing how to produce the sound. Shh, that is not the case. That word, the spelling is C-E-L-S-I-U-S. You say degrees Celsius. Don't say shears. Then we have Lucy, Mama Lucy, and Stephen Kafusho of Taracha Port. Kafusho, when we look at it, I think this one is from the Kikuyu community. And when we look at the spelling, it is Kabucho. But I may not get it exactly the way the native speakers of that language may say it, or the Kikuyu speakers, but we say Kafusho. So Lucy and Stephen Kafusho of Taracha Port, you say agent. An agent, that is A-G-E-N-T. But U-R-G-E-N-T, you say urgent. Urgently, I want to see you urgently. Urgent need for something. Peter Omondi of Migori, you say priest. Priest. Then we have Peter Omega of you keep it up, Peter. We also love the way you love KTN. Anyway, Peter Omega of Equity, don't say equity. We commonly say, and so many people say equity. It's equity, the way you know it. Keep it up, that is the way to say. You say equity, Peter Omega. Then I think up to that point, I'll only handle one more. There is somebody here who says, you say capitalize, capitalize. But remember, in capitalize, you have Z, and you can also use an S, but the pronunciation is capitalize. C-A-P-I-T-A-L-I-Z-E or I-S-E. Those are alternative spellings. Jesse and Ashley, back to you in Nairobi.
Well, thank you, Willis. One last question. We have a viewer who's asking, should it be cocoon or cocoon? How do you pronounce this word, Willis?
You say cocoon, cocoon, and Jesse, before I leave you, we have what we call now the surprise word for tonight. My cameraman, always very, very active, and he tells me, let us exactly do the needful for KTN viewers. You say impetus. Many people would say impetus. To add impetus from the phonetic transcription, you can realize we don't say pe, you say p. Impetus. Letter E takes the short sound E. Impetus. To add impetus to something. Then we have what we have been doing for our viewers on KTN, that is the phonetic symbols. This one is what we call the mid-central sound Mid-central sound the short one. Short mid-central sound Just like you say burn, hurt, and pass. But here it's burn, here it's longer. You say burn, burn. So the long mid-central sound is this one. That is the phonetic symbol for it. Burn, hurt, pass. But here burn, hurt, pass. The symbols are right here. So when you use a good dictionary, it can help you. And then finally, you say accent. Accent. Just see, you can agree with me that many people say accent. The accent, which is not the case. You say accent for the upper word, and the lower word is assent. To assent to a bill. Assent. The upper one, accent. Otherwise, that is where I would say a full stop for tonight.
Well, thank you, Willis. I assent your accent, and you're well versed in the English language. Thank you so much for making time, and we always enjoy Mind Your Language. Thank you so much.